I'd like to call this meeting to order. And if I say the wrong thing, since this is the first time I'm leading this, please let me know.
Okay, yeah, Tim's not here tonight. So Tim is not here. Daniel Ilian,
Present.
John Kilstrom,
Present.
Mindy Prosky,
Present.
Andrew Rathbun,
Present.
Benjamin Hurt,
Here.
Kenneth Ingstrom. And it looks like Council Liaison Labonte
Here.
is joining us via Zoom.
I'd like to call for an approval of the minutes from our last meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. I'll second that motion.
And I'll call for a vote. Daniel,
Yep.
John,
Yes.
Mindy,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Benjamin,
Yes.
Kenneth.
Aye.
Okay.
I guess next on our agenda is business from the board. So I guess open it up for business from the board. I do not have anything, so I guess I pass it on. Does anybody else have any business to bring up?
I'm sorry.
New business or old business? Okay, question, do we know what the status of the curve signs is that our resident brought an issue about?
Yes, we do. So Public Works did their assessment, and I was going to bring that up, but Public Works did their assessment. The signs currently out there match all county signs so the signs are appropriate. What it was they had to cut back a bunch of bushes. So it's clear and visible right now. The resident was notified and we're moving forward. So answer your question, it's resolved.
Yeah, thank you.
I've got a follow-up, I guess, on an agenda item I think was brought up at the last meeting. And I know we're out of school now, but I brought up a concern with the Cracksburger flashing beacon lights for when school is, or what is it, the school sign warning signs and them being out of sync. I'm curious if that got brought up, if it got resolved. I will say that I haven't seen the issue the last couple times I went to pick my son up from school, but just curious if it got
Yes,
resolved.
that issue was addressed the following day and resynced.
Awesome. Thank you.
One thing I wanted to add was the stop sign at Glen Echo and the trolley trail just on the road here. Similar situation, virtually impossible to see because of the vegetation right there. And because of all the peds crossing and the weird intersection, it'd be good if someone could take a look at that and see if there's something to get the.
You're talking about Abernathy and
Yes.
Glen Echo?
Yes, bingo.
What side of the intersection are you talking about?
Driving this way, which I believe would be west on Glen Echo. Right?
Yeah, west on Glen Echo. So, all right, I'll take a look.
Yeah.
I'll take a look for clear visibility
Okay.
and have our code officer take a look too. So we'll get two different opinions.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't drive that way a lot, and I drove that way for the first time the other day, and I almost missed it. And so I was like, okay,
Yeah, it's a very, very large corner hedge
yeah.
that you can't miss it.
No, I was through there a couple times today.
Okay.
I just know there's a stop sign, so I stopped.
Yeah, there you go.
The hedge you can't miss. It's
Yeah.
quite large.
So, that was my one. The other thing I was going to bring up is I sent an email out this afternoon, and I don't expect anyone caught it. But one of the things I was able to do after, I think the person from the, I think the person from the Clackamas County Safety presenter was here and shared some information about good ways to find crash data. And so one of the things I sent out to everyone, and I have it here if you would like a copy of it, is all of the crash data from the past 5 years within the city of Gladstone limits. including a map with locations. I could just hand that out right now. Let's see, you want to hand that out now? I'll grab one right there. Oh, thank you.
You?
Oh, I'll probably take one because I probably need to talk through it. Thank you. So yeah, I was just using a simple tool. I put a link in the email as well if you want to mess around with it. But I kind of filtered it for the past 5 years, which is typically what we'd look at if we were doing like starting to look at crash history and safety stuff. And then it gives a good level of information on not just total crashes, but the severity of the crashes, including fatalities, different levels of injuries, property damage only. It also includes, as I said, the map. You can see the locations of each one of those. So I thought it'd be a good place to start to look at that and just kind of, if everyone had some time to digest it between now and our next meeting, kind of correlate your experience driving the streets with what you see on this map and how you feel about some of these locations. Some ones that stand out to me are on River Road on the west side of the city, out there by the bar park. A tough intersection for sure, and lots of traffic over there. Same with that kind of Y intersection right up here on, I think, Webster. Yeah, Webster, and I don't know what the other street is, but that Y there. There's a couple of places that stand out to me that were kind of interesting that maybe are worth taking a look. I did turn off all of the accidents from, or the crashes from ODOT's road, so those do show up. So like 99 and I-205 would show up on there, so you got to filter those out a little bit. But I thought it'd be a good starting point, good thing to discuss, anything that stands out, and then maybe we can get back together, take a look and be like, hey, this intersection or this location's interesting. What we can do from there is actually dive into these individual crashes, look at trends from the reports from the crashes, come up with maybe some trends and reasons why these are happening and things we could look at discussing or addressing. So if there's any questions on that?
Is there a way to make this map larger?
No, it stays this size forever. You do this. Unfortunately, no. It's better if you look at it in the thing. I'll do what I can to blow it up a little bit and toy with it. I just print it this afternoon, but I will do what I can.
Sure,
to get a
sure.
Bigger version.
And I think it's a great project for this traffic safety committee.
Okay.
So I think it's a great project to look at, to try and evaluate, to see if there's anything we can do. And then we would have access to the reports.
Right. So for you, what would be the most valuable thing that we can provide the city?
Probably trends.
Trends. Okay.
I think you hit it right on the money. I think it's trends. Some of the areas like Meldrum Bar, our code enforcement, if you're coming out, so you're going east, coming out of Meldrum Bar, approaching River Road, make contact with the property owner, where if you're looking to the north, it's very hard to see. Property owner today took a bunch of slats out, so now, and cut a bunch of limbs back, so now there's clear visibility. So it's much, much easier to see. And I just happened to roll up there as she was doing it and thanked her.
Yeah.
So you're going to see some of those things that weren't there before, now they are. So
Okay.
just different things that go on, and I understand, I know there's been crashes there.
Right.
So.
Okay. That's great. That's helpful. Okay.
I've got two items that I'd like to bring up. One is another obscured stop sign. And that's at Cornell Avenue at First Street. And it's the let's see, northwest corner. And I drove by today and looked at, I have some pictures. And then the kind of the kitty corner to that stop sign is a little obscured by a bush, but the first one is, you can hardly see it at all till you're right on it.
I will take a look tomorrow.
Okay. And then the other item I wanted to mention is on Exeter Street, which I drive down every now and then, and there's several cross streets that don't have stop signs. And I wonder if that's something that we could request or study or something. In one of those cross streets, Columbia, I noticed on the crash map, there were 2 crashes at that intersection.
Yeah, so stop signs are a different breed. There's got to be studies put in for stop signs. If you put stop signs like at every corner, every intersection, it makes things worse. So, and that's been proven through the studies. We have information that on how we do stop signs, the purpose of stop signs, et cetera, that we can push out or that we can have Christie push out as information. We've been down this quite a bit. I've actually driven in other different communities and we're not unique. So, it's still the rules apply. Right away does apply. So person on the right does apply. So it's not a right you have, but it's more of a privilege. So be cautious as you go into uncontrolled intersections. Those will still apply.
Okay, thanks.
I know one of the things that we said was for the community festival, which I think is July, we were gonna have a booth or something like that. And I think mentioning, I know there's that board that's out in front of the office over there. If that'd be something that we can hang out there that talks about that a little bit, that might be helpful.
Yeah, we'll get it out there and it's August, first weekend in August.
August, bingo. Okay, sorry.
I noticed on your data, crash data, you did not put any of the county roads in state or county, right?
I don't know about county. I was only able to filter out from the state directly. But I could take a look at who owns what and then update that. So,
Might be interesting to note, like McLaughlin and going down, all the way down to Glen Echo, what goes on there. And I know that the city has some county roads mixed in with the city roads too.
yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll snip this and make it bigger and then add some call outs and some highlighting to show like, hey, this is a county road, or, we can start to mark it up a little bit and kind of make it our own. But again, there's a lot of filters. If you look to the right of the page, you can see a lot of different stuff in there that you can filter specific ones by if you're curious about it. So like collision types is a great one that we can use to filter through. Side swipes, right turns, things like that. Get a general idea and filter and look at stuff like that.
And just to confirm, Ben, this is crash data for the past 10 years, correct?
5.
Is it 5? Okay.
It's confusing. The bottom shows the crash trend for 10 years, but the data you see on the chart
Okay.
is for 5, or in the map is for 5.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. It's kind of a tricky thing to filter by years, and it doesn't look right, but that's a good point.
And what we can do, we can maybe if you take that map, create a map and overlay it with what's in the city boundaries.
That's a good idea.
And then that way we can really pinpoint city crashes versus outside the city.
Okay.
Because as we talk about Glen Echo and McLaughlin, that's not inside the city. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I'll get some updates out this month and send that out to everyone. People can shoot emails, ask questions, whatever's easiest.
Thank you, Ben. Are there any other roundtable discussion items from anyone on the board?
Just, you talked about the flashing lights. I noticed the one at Kaysen and Webster, that it was misbehaving here a while back. The west side light would just kind of on and off be flashing one light, and then it would go to 2, and then it wouldn't do anything for a while. Then it would just and nobody or anything close. It was just acting randomly for a couple of weeks. I haven't seen it lately though, just within the last week or so.
Okay. If there are no other roundtable discussion items, we'll move on to the update from Chief.
Great. Anybody have any questions from the from our monthly report regarding traffic related activity? Hearing nothing, then I'll go ahead and give some statistical information for April. The month of April, we stopped 214 cars, wrote 77 citations, arrested 2 drunk drivers, and issued 136 parking citations. In May, we stopped 286 cars, issued 84 traffic citations, arrested 1 drunk driver, and issued 64 parking citations. So year to date, we've stopped 1,445 vehicles, issued 497 citations, arrested 13 drunk drivers, and issued 504 parking citations. So those are the numbers. As you can tell, we are way below 50% with regards to stop versus citation. Again, our philosophy hasn't changed. We want the behavior to change. We're not looking to punish people. But sometimes, again, as I've always said, you deserve a citation depending on what you're doing, depending on your behavior. With regards to the traffic crash, it looks like we had 4 traffic crashes. McLaughlin, Glen Echo, looked like there was 2 that we responded to, Dartmouth and Bellevue, and McLaughlin and Dartmouth. Interesting thing about McLaughlin and Dartmouth, there's a light there. So that very well could be, no, I'm sorry, that's Gloucester. McLaughlin and Dartmouth doesn't have the light. So that's a difficult intersection to get in and out of. So, but I'm not sure there's going to be much changes there with regards to that. That's a state highway there. Other than that, really, those are the traffic related updates. We've closed the loop on a couple of the different things that I shared earlier on Oatfield with the signage. And we'll take a look at the visibility of the stop signs on that. So that was brought forward at Cornell and First Street. So, but is there any questions for me?
Has or does the sitting of a squad on the street, on Dartmouth, on Portland, here, there, does that have an effect on the driving in town?
When
When there's a squad, just sitting on the side of the road or parked at an intersection, in a
Sure.
church parking lot?
Sure, visibility always provides some sort of deterrent. The best deterrent is when you see our lights on. That has been a proven fact of deterrent, which is why I encourage us to stop lots of cars. Then we don't have to give citations, but if you're driving in Gladstone and which is mostly residential, and you see a police car with its lights on, a car stopped, what's the habit of most people? They're going to slow down, or they're just going to maintain their speed, which is the appropriate speed. So having lights on, and people know we see, you'll see our units parked off Portland Avenue running radar. Or today we were on Arlington, Gloucester, and Dartmouth running radar. Our speed trailers up on Jennings with the small portion that is within the city there. So we're doing everything we possibly can, and we augment our specific traffic team we don't have, but we augment that with ODOT grant money, which is designed to build our traffic team. So officers come in on overtime, and they have requirements of so many stops per hour for the grant.
I did have a question. I know, coming into summer, traffic trends are going to change in Gladstone as people are frequenting the river and kids are out of school and all that. Can you just talk a little bit about the philosophy of your team, what your expectations are in terms of, do you change how you're deploying people, and can you just talk about what you expect coming into summer in terms of traffic?
I don't expect for whatever reason, our strategies or deployment of personnel won't change. Our deployment of overtime on traffic grants may change. So it's going to depend. It might be later in the afternoon or directly after work, which is rush hour traffic for people coming and going to work or passing through. Those tend to be the bigger times, is the rush hour. But with regards to kids, we tend to, although we're going to stop kids, we tend to try and teach them, encourage them to go the speed limit, and do do certain things and speak with them about that. However, if you're going to go 10 miles an hour over in a residential area, you're likely going to get a ticket. And there's ways to work your, sorry about that. there's ways that we can help deal with that. So, and through the courts the judge and understands when you have a youth in there. But for the most part, people are pretty good. People are pretty good.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. One other one, Chief. On Webster, the county changed the speed limit to 30. And I see one sign when you first get on coming from Jennings. And then I don't see any speed limit signs. Has Gladstone changed theirs, or are we still?
I think I brought this up last meeting, is that we had hoped that when the county made their change, we would make our change at the same time through the county's assessment. The county advised us that they're not able to make changes for the city. So the county's in the process of redoing their study, and which is why we haven't put new signs up yet, because we anticipate that being done shortly, and then we'll place signs appropriately.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
You bet.
We'll move on to community input. Do we have any comments?
We have no
or
one signed up.
questions? No one signed up.
No one in the audience.
There is absolutely no one in the audience. Okay. Well,
Can I
with
chime in
that-
as a liaison here? Hi, everybody. Hopefully, can you hear
Hi,
me?
Andrew. Yep, we can hear you.
Hi, I'm sorry I can't be there in person. But I just briefly want to say how great this group is. Yeah, I'm just so excited about. I say it all the time, I know, but just the way that you guys approach your conversations and the way that you're looking at the city to try to improve it, it's absolutely stellar. So I'm really stoked to be a part of that. And thanks for your work and volunteering, guys. And Chief, thank you very much for your work and your dedication to being here with the Traffic Safety Board. That's really all I have. Oh, and I'm hoping for our next meeting to get another guest speaker. I'm hoping to. Well, maybe I'll keep it a surprise for now until I can lock it down. But I'm hoping to get a guest speaker for our next meeting also. And that's all I've got for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew. With that, I guess I'd like to call to adjourn. Oh, what? Oh,
Go down the row again.
okay.
Other issues.
Let's go to our board if there are any last minute items or concerns.
I do not have any last minute items or concerns.
Thank you.
One question, Chief. For the streets, do we know if there's going to be slurry sealing this year?
I know there's slurry sealing will be going on. I just don't know when.
And the other thing is July 4th, the chief and the fire chief will be serving hot dogs at the park. So the board needs to be there and sling hot dogs into the buns and pass out chips and drinks and whatever is necessary.
If you are available, they can do part of that. Feel free to come out and have a hot dog at the same time.
I have no other issues.
Thank you.
Nothing for me.
I'm good.
Nothing from me. And one more thing from the chief.
Yes, one more thing. I appreciate you bringing the crash data forward and looking for trends. So if you need help finding reports or whatever, let us know. I'm going to rely on the board to do the work and bring it back. So, but if you need our support in getting reports, let us know so we can get you the information you need to make that analysis. So I think it'll be extremely helpful to the city. And don't forget, not only the 4th of July, which is going to be a great celebration with hot dogs and chips and maybe snow cones potentially, but the community festival in August. We're going to need some help at the booth. It's going to be an all-day gig. And so we're going to pass out a bunch of information that is possible, and Yvonne will be coordinating that again. So other than that, that's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you, chief. And with that, I would like to call to adjourn.
We'll have somebody make a motion.
Can someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
And I will take a vote. Daniel,
Yep.
John,
Yes.
Mindy.
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Benjamin,
Yes.
Kenneth,
Yes.
meeting is adjourned.